So let's talk a little bit about how you would deploy Apache Drill. And so of course you could download it and run it on your laptop, and that's a great way to get started. But once you're ready to run it at scale and process and query lots of data, you would want to run it on a cluster of Linux boxes. And Drill actually allows you to run it in a co-located mode where the drill bit processes, these are the drill processes, are actually running on the same nodes as the underlying storage system. So in this case, in a Hadoop cluster, you would have a data node on each node and a drill bit on every node. And Drill makes an effort to achieve data locality. So the fragment of the query that's running on a specific node is actually the system tries to make it so that that fragment is actually processing data that's on the local node to the extent possible. And if you were, for example, running Drill in order to query data in a MongoDB cluster, well then you just replace, in this picture, you replace the data nodes with the MongoDB process that you have in a Mongo cluster. Okay, and basically it's the exact same concept. Now sometimes you may want to query data that actually doesn't sit on the cluster and actually can't sit on the same physical cluster where Drill is running. So for example, if you think about something like Amazon S3, that's actually, think of that as some remote storage system whose implementation details aren't important, but Drill has to be able to talk to that remotely. So in that case, you have just the drill bit running on every node in the cluster, and the drill bit these drill bits are communicating directly with the S3 storage through the standard S3 APIs. So that's how Drill operates. Now, when a client wants to submit a query or in general interact with the cluster, they can actually talk to any of these drill bit processes. This is a symmetric architecture. And the drill bit process to which the client is submitting the query, we call that the foreman. It doesn't do a lot of work, but it does do the query planning. The actual execution of the query runs in parallel on the entire cluster. And so the client could be an ODBC or a JDBC client. That would be a BI application like something like Tableau or ClickView or MicroStrategy or Spotfire or Excel even. And that goes through the ODBC driver on the client side. So that would be the ODBC driver. And then here you would have a tool like Tableau. And the ODBC driver is then interacting with one of the drill bits. And it doesn't really matter which one of these drill bits, it can actually talk to any of them. And then you could have also a REST client, so there's a REST API for Drill, and your custom applications in Python or Java or any other language can use the REST API as well. Let's say you wanted to do custom dashboards, for example, so you can use the REST interface as well to talk to the Drill cluster. And so that's kind of the high-level description of how a Drill cluster is deployed and how the client communicates with the cluster.